Hello everyone and welcome to Universal Woo Woo. I'm Joanne Bennett.
And I'm Roger Baines. And this is the show where we discuss how situations and things affect your life, your world, and your universe.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Universal Woo Woo here from sunny Jamaica. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Roger. And if you can deal with our squinting eyes from the beautiful sun, we'll be right.
The sun's just coming up, so it's catching us right. We had the perfect spot, but it's kind of catching us right in the eye right now. So
this is our last day here.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I want to thank everyone that's become a part of the Universal Woo Woo community. Really appreciate you, and we also love the fact that you've been guided, however you've been guided by your spirit, by your ancestors, to find us on this channel. And always remember that there is a divine reason for that. It's not a mistake. We're going to be giving out information all throughout time that's going to be valuable. It was valuable to us. It is very valuable to us, and we want to share that. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much. But no buts. And there's a little button down there. It says subscribe and it says like. Just kind of smash it a little bit. It's free.
Do it now.
Just do it.
Why
now.
are you thinking about it?
Smash it down a little bit. Smash it down. Break it even. Right?
Don't forget to hit the bell button so that you'll know next time we post a video. You'll be alerted.
All right, so what are we going to talk about today?
Well, we're going to talk about, it's a follow-up from the survival video that we talked about.
Yeah, the why survival is not your friend. Mm-hmm. And we have a link to that video. So if some things feel like they haven't been filled out, it's because the information has already been spoken about, and those of you who watch the show, that we don't want to repeat everything. Mm-hmm. So you can go to the link, watch that video, and it'll give you the full breadth and width of what we're talking about today. But you can just watch this video. It's got a lot on it that doesn't need something else for you to link to. So let's start with the mindset. The mindset of abundance, the mindset of feeling abundant, and then bringing that in and what that looks like. Now, what we want to be is abundant. And we talked about in the last video survival and how some of us wear it as a badge, and we're even encouraged by everything around us to just survive. Even your education, that you've gone to school for 20, some of us 20 years, some of us even 25 years, all of that, you might be a doctor, you might be a lawyer, you might be a teacher, you might be any kind of profession. All of them, I don't care what category, how prestigious they are survival mechanisms. Your entire education is designed to help you survive. That's all it's designed for. And so survival is the lowest form of existence for an intelligent life form like ourselves. It's the lowest form of existence, because when you're in a survival state or mode, it is the only thing that you can do. And you don't do anything else, like become self-actualized, where you discover more of who you are, and discover how you are the creator and of everything around you. And you discover, when you lift yourself out of survival, you discover the creator within, the true creator, not one in any book, not one existing in someone else, somewhere else, something else, after death, before death, all the silly belief systems many of us carry as human beings. The creator is nowhere else but within this, including this creation that is you physically, is created from that inner creator from within. All right, your spirit. It has created everything. Nothing else outside of you has created it. you have from within. So with that kind of mindset, with that kind of setting, I want to talk about abundance. But before we start, John, you want to give your take on abundance and steps that you're doing right now to move out of survival.
I've just started paying myself first with whatever money I earn, which, you know, at the moment I am working on myself. It's still a work in progress, but I'm taking a percentage of whatever I earn and paying me first before my bills, my car note, whatever. I'm paying me first. And do you want to explain why that kind of helps?
Yeah, and if you have an issue with paying yourself first, then your job is to decide what that issue is before you can go anywhere. Get rid of it and start paying yourself first. Mm-hmm. Because when you pay yourself first, you remove yourself, as I said in the last video, from being a battery for everything else. All right? You become a battery, and you support everything. And that's what this reality wants. Mm-hmm. There are those who are sitting in so-called high places, and they do nothing but figure out ways to get you to stay the battery that you are and keep paying them. Because if you don't pay yourself first, every reason will keep coming why you need to be giving your money away to other things. Mm-hmm. Now, when you pay yourself first, you remove yourself from being second fiddle. And you tell your subconscious mind, the creator of everything is your subconscious mind. You are bringing the creation from the unconscious. And by the way, when you start paying, it seems really simple, right? When you start paying yourself first, all of the things that were there before that kept you will come to light. Why? Because you made a shift in your mindset. Mm-hmm. You've made a shift in your mindset, and that costs nothing. Mm-hmm. It's just simply a decision where you say, I'm putting myself first. Mm-hmm. There are people, mothers do this a lot, and even fathers, particularly mothers. Oh, I take care of the family. That's what I live for. I sacrifice everything. None of that is necessary. And think about the example you're giving to your children. You're basically doing the will of those who want to keep you enslaved on this planet by doing that. Because then that doesn't just extend to your family. If you look quite closely, you'll see that you do that for everything outside of your family as well. And then you end up last. What happens when you are last? What happens when your cup is not full? You can't really take care of your family as well as you think. If you really observe it, you can't. Because if you're not at 100% throttle, you are not at 100% in full care of anything around you. Forget about your family, of anything. Your cup must be full first.
That
and
reminds
the overflow,
me.
The overflow. I'll finish. The overflow is what other people get. And that's how you become a transformer. That's how you become a difference maker. And that's the example that you want to give to your sons and your daughters. Sorry, go ahead, Beth.
Yeah, it reminds me of, who cares for the carer kind of thing.
Yes.
And if you notice, and I'm going to put a link because there's a really cool video, actually. I'm going to put a link to it. And when you're on a flight, what do they tell you? Put your mask on first, always, even before your kids, before your parents, whoever. Put your mask on first. And there's a cool video, and it's and that's what we need to do. Think of ourselves first.
Yeah, that's what we have to do because we've seen our parents do it, we see other people do it, and we see it around us all of the time. And let me ask you, is the state of the planet been made better by that kind of activity? No, it's a program. It's a program that's been put within every single one of us, including myself, because when I talk and I say these things, I've either experienced them or working on them now at this point. So I'm not a picture of perfection, believe me. So when you put yourself first, a lot of things that you don't even know about start to fall into place or start to come into view for you to deal with and get rid of. Because every time you get rid of it, then and you consciously bring in the polar opposite of that which you took away. So in other words, if you worked on yourself and you got rid of the feeling and identity of lack, as an example, If you have moved yourself away from that, only the opposite of lack can come in, which is abundance. You see, it automatically happens. It comes in ways of opportunities, and those opportunities, as I said in the last video, are always coming, but you can't see them if you're not in line with them. You're here and the opportunity is here. You're over there and the opportunity is here. You can't see it. It's like it's invisible. It doesn't exist. And you see it for other people, but you can't see it for yourself. So when you get rid of that lack, starting first by paying yourself. Because if you pay other people first, it's because you think that if I run out of money and I don't pay them, I owe.
Even if it's $5, $2, $1, something. You start with something.
You start with something.
Even if you haven't got a job and you're on unemployment, take $5 out of that and you know, pay yourself with it.
Stoke it away first. Stoke it away. And so we say pay yourself first. What does that mean? Oh, I pay myself, and next week I'm going down to the store and I'm just going to buy everything up, right? We don't really mean that. We're not saying you shouldn't enjoy life. You should, but you should even have an idea of that. When I say pay yourself first, I'm talking about taking that money and putting it in a situation where it goes to work for you. And if you do that over time, gradually, over time, that money or that abundance starts to accumulate, starts to create itself. When it comes to money, we call that interest. If you do that long enough, the interest from that principle that you've been putting into will support your entire life, and you no longer have to work for a living. If you are disciplined, you don't have to be smart. You don't have to have these great investment strategies that people talk about all the time. You just have to be diligent, and you just have to have the right mindset. And when you start doing that, you start. This is all energetically. We have a contributor over here, but that's okay. So things will start lining up in a way that you could never have imagined, with you not having to do much else other than changing your mindset and then doing small activities to support and to tell your subconscious that you want to be abundant, you want to be financially independent. However you look or picture that you have in your mind of that. It's really that simple. And over time the opportunities will come and you'll see them, and they'll come in a way that you can actually take advantage of them. They'll come in a way that you can take advantage of them. And why are we making this video? Maybe I should say in the beginning, because the energies have changed on this planet. They're now here to support humanity. The energies before were one of second chances. The age of I forget what it's called. What are we coming up? The age of Pisces. The age of Pisces was about second chances and forgiveness. This is the age of Aquarius. It's about, hey, this is what you do and this is what you get. Bang. So we've gone through quite a bit here, and now I'm going to give you a little bit of the how. I'm going to give you a couple how suggestions. Now, bear it in mind, this is our story of the how.
Yeah.
The how is going to be different might be different for you, because you might have a different background, a different kind of you might live in a different country where things are different. You might have a certain way of thinking that is more supported by something that's unlike what we're doing. So do not look at the how, because the how is actually the least important thing here. I just want to emphasize that. The how is the least important thing. The why you need to be, why you need to change your mindset is actually the most important thing and the only thing you need. But we want to do the how, a little bit of the how, so that you can hear a little bit of our story. I'm going to mention two different ways that you can really start paying yourself and becoming abundant. There's this theory of compounded interest, and maybe some of you have heard of it. And basically, is you take a little bit of money, a little bit of your earnings, and you put it in a place where it can grow, gain interest. The interest that it gains goes back into the principal. You're not worried about this. You're paying your bills. You're doing everything. This is money for you that you're storing away and that you're going to use to help you become more abundant, right? You take this money, you put it away, and you put a little bit onto it, and it keeps growing. And with the law of compounded interest, within time, that principle starts to create interest that eventually, if you stick to it, will support you, and you no longer have to work for a living. So I can't get into detail about how that works fully, but certainly you can go to the internet and or get books. So much has been written about this, even small books that have been written about this, where you can start doing that. And when you start doing that, like I said, not only is that going to grow, but other opportunities for you to do more of that will start coming in, because that is the age that we're in, that you will be supported in ways that you cannot imagine. So using the theory of compounded interest, which I just crudely went over, is one of the ways you can do it. And guess what? Everybody can do this. You don't need to be a financial genius. You don't need to have a lot of money. You just need to start, period. And there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't and why you can't do this. So it's really simple. You want to know more about it? Just look it up, you know. It's simple information that, if applied with great discipline, you don't have to be smart, you don't have to be a financial wizard, just with great discipline, just putting that money away. The money that you pay yourself first with, right?
Yeah.
You use that to do
Yeah.
the compounded, to put that little very simple strategy in. All right? So that's one way that you can start, that anybody can start. Now, here's another way. This way is a little bit, you do have to do a lot of research. You have to do your homework. You have to kind of be into it a little bit more. This requires a little bit more effort. We have, and many of us have heard of this, I'm sure many of you have heard of this, of the redistribution of wealth going on. It's even a regular, if you go to all the little sites, the news sites, you'll even see little things and little ads about the redistribution of wealth. And that picture might look like, to some of us, because it did to me, like someone is going to go, okay, all the rich people are too rich, and all the people that are not rich, we're going to take that money and give it to you. That does no good to anyone. That's not how it's going to happen. It's going to happen in a way that those who are interested in becoming abundant are going to have the opportunity to do so, because before you could be interested, but the doors were locked. The doors and the gates were locked for you. And every way you turned, you started something, blah, blah, blah. It was just another way. Like, for example, you talked about your business in the last video, about how you have that. And by the way, if you own your own business, it's prestigious. You can go around and talk about how you own your own business and all that, and everybody will pat you on the back. But you're simply working for the business, not for some loudmouth boss, and you're a slave to it. Right?
True.
So all these little traps were set up where you thought you were going to be financially independent. You worked hard. Nobody gets rich working hard, by the way. Nobody. Okay. So you worked hard, you did all this, and by the time you had a little bit set away, you were too old to even enjoy it. Or your health went down. There was something in the way every turn every way you turned. Now those energies are different. I'm talking about a new era that's here. Now, one of the things that this age has brought on is something called cryptocurrencies. Now, some of you have heard of cryptocurrencies. They were ridiculed in the past. Now, big institutions and smart money, people who work in finance, are now pouring their money into it. And not only can they do it, we can now do it as well. But let me step back a little bit. This form of money was created by a man by the name of Satoshi Nakamura, I believe his name is. Nobody knows this guy. And he was very frustrated with the fact that everything was centralized, like the banks, meaning that no matter what you do, you had to go through a bank, a third party who had nothing to do with helping you earn any of the money that you have, and then you put it in there and they could lose it for you completely, your entire life savings, like in 2008. Like if you read your history back in the past, they used to lose people's money all the time. Why? Because you had no choice but to go to them, right? Now you don't. And they're scared as heck as a result of that. Because now you have more control over your money. And the idea of him creating Bitcoin, the first cryptocurrency, was to get the power out of the hands of the very few who controlled everything and put that in the power of in the hands of the individual. So now you can have a form of money, digital money, and your bank is you. You store that money in what are called wallets, and that can be stored anywhere. It can be stored on a personal computer, can be stored on what they call storage pocket, and it's with you, and it's in your possession, not in the possession of a third party. That's not possible. You can now become your own personal bank. And if you think cryptocurrencies are a joke, there are credit cards now available which you can use cryptocurrencies to buy from a lot of places. I just went to my local neighborhood about 2 weeks ago, and there was this big building. We accept cryptocurrencies through credit cards, etc. And I'm like, what? I looked around, I did a double take on it. And this was a very, very popular retailer in my area. Okay? So this thing is real. And what's real about it is you can take very little money and multiply it tremendously like no other time in the history of this planet. I'll give you an example. In 2017, I invested $40 in a cryptocurrency in October of 2017. $40. Now, before I start into that, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't do any of that stuff. So do your own research. Do your own research and invest according to your abilities and what you have and what you can afford to lose. Okay? On what you can afford to lose. So, getting back to the story, I took $40. I heard about cryptocurrencies back then the first time from a very, 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 very awakened individual by the name of Seven Bomar. He has a channel here. So I said, I'm going to buy this cryptocurrency. It was a half a penny. I forgot about it, and in December I said, you know what? I wonder what's going on with that. I went into my account, and that $40 in December of 2017, late December, turned into $1,500. I thought, this is not real. This is a mistake. This can't possibly be. I just put $40 in there, forgot about it, didn't do a damn thing, and it was $1,500 when I came back about a little less than 2 months, or a little over 2 months later. I checked, and I said, how did this happen? So I started to do research, and I went to a couple of YouTube channels, and yeah, it was real. Yeah, it was real. And so I was learning then, and I'll be honest with you, because I was learning, I ended up not cashing that out, and then it went down. So it's a very volatile market, meaning it goes up and down really quickly and a lot. So that's why I said you have to be more researched, and you have to do a little bit more work. But if you do that work and you invest some money and you're smart about it and you learn how to manipulate that system, and you learn how that system works, you can literally invest $40 like I did in the right cryptocurrency, and you can research to find out which ones are right, because most of them, I'll admit to you, are garbage. But when it comes to money, you're going to run into that. All right? But with little research, because all the information is there, you can literally, there were people in 2017 when I got into it that started off as just common folks working hard at the beginning of that year, and they were well off and wealthy by the end of that year. That's how revolutionary this new form of currency is. So that's my second suggestion, but you need to do your homework with it. But are you going to have a problem doing your homework, learning about it, if it means if you do that, you have the possibility of being financially independent for the rest of your life? I don't have a problem with that. And neither should you if that's what you desire. Because I was not put on this planet, this is just me, to work for a living for the betterment of someone else who could care less about me, who doesn't even know I exist. People who don't even know you exist are benefiting from your work. They're trading your name on Wall Street. You have a birth certificate? Your name is being traded like a commodity on Wall Street. You are worth millions. Okay? So now it's the time for us to take the power away from those who see us as just a piece of meat or a battery or something to make them rich. Now is the time we can take that power away from them and bring it back home right here to us. All you need to do is change your mindset, start paying yourself first, and start looking for the opportunities, because they come knocking all the time. But when you're looking for them, you're the person that'll find them. Okay? So I'll leave it there. This went a little bit longer than we had planned, isn't it?
That's fine.
We'll leave it there. So I hope this information was really helpful to you. If you have any questions at all, just put them in the link below. Remember to like, subscribe, and
hit that bell button.
and hit the bell button. This is really, I hope that you really listen to this information and really take it in and really take steps, because if you want to be a transformer, if you want to help humanity get to the next level, and many of you watching this are in that kind of mindset where you want to help humanity, you want to help awaken people, it's a lot easier when you don't have to worry about where your money is coming from, even if it takes a couple of years. Okay? And we need people like you who are awake, who have something to contribute to humanity, to have the freedom to do so. Because if you don't have the freedom, you could have all the wishes and ideas in the world. If you don't have the freedom to execute them, they won't happen. So that to me is so important. That to me is so important. So until the next video, remember to keep working on, working within.